It's time to roll, time to slay, time to loot. Grab your dice, ready up, let's go!
Previously, in the Chronicles of Celestria, in the moon-dappled glade of the Forgotten Altar, our heroes faced their first true trial. The Elemental Guardians, ancient constructs of stone and water, raged with fury and rose to test the resolve of the party. Though Alfonso bore the brunt of their wrath, it was Bramble, the quiet monk of the forest, whose fist shattered the final foe into dust. But victory came with a mystery. Vanessa, their elven guide, vanished mid-battle without a trace, and atop the altar sat a strange, tarnished amulet, its silver chain worn with age. Within its pendant shimmered a gem unlike any other, a stone that appeared to reflect the heavens themselves. When Gamma reached for it, the amulet pulsed with warmth, as if recalling an ancient light. Drakenthal, with a craftsman's eye, recognized the impossible cut of the gem, not mined, but fallen. It seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it, a secret whispered only in legend. Siana could feel the extreme energy emanating from the stone, and each who touched it glimpsed a fleeting vision, a large forge with a shadowed figure hammering away. As night fell, the group made their camp beside the altar, wrapped in conversation and firelight. Caruth and Flanagan shared strange customs over stew, while Kalara and Drakenthal, the leather-bound book once more, its pages now etched with its new words. Find it, bring it to me, T.W. And when Gamma's stone pulsed with radiant light, all could see it glowing faintly at his chest. The next morning, under a pale grey sky, they began their return to Meadowshade. But the forest held one last secret. A hooded elven figure appeared beneath a tree, a raven perched on his shoulder. With riddles and foreboding, he vanished, leaving only a single black feather behind. The silence grew heavier as they neared Meadowshade. The tavern, the wallowed shrine, stood eerily quiet. Its door creaked open unattended. No voices, no laughter, just an empty room, and upon the counter, a single blooded red handprint. And that's where we begin, on the edge of revelation and ruin. So, Drakenthal, as you are the one who reached the counter first this evening, this morning, as you return to the tavern, you stepped in, you've come across this bloodied handprint. The rest of the group are also with you, but haven't yet come to this conclusion. How do you proceed?
Well, could I inspect it for size? What would have made this potentially?
You can definitely roll a perception check, and I can tell you what you would know from a perception. So with an 11, it is dimly lit in here, so you do have a little bit of issues making out the handprint at first, but it is very clear to you that this is a far smaller humanoid handprint with five fingers, as a normal humanoid handprint would have. It's similar to maybe those around you. You would expect that of those in your party, this is more along Flanagan's hand size.
Yeah, I would have assumed as much. And I will call. I will turn around and tell the rest of the party that I found some blood stain, and there's a blood stain here and a very small handprint, probably halfling size. Should I step around the counter and try and find more?
Halfling, you say? Wasn't the tavern owner barkeep halfling?
Yeah.
Blood on the counter, blood on the floor, but not a drop to drink.
Well, it adds up.
Is there something to drink?
You can see that behind the bar, Siana, you can see that behind the bar, there are barrels and kegs and things as normal. but it doesn't appear like there's anybody else in here. There's no one else drinking anything, and you don't actually know where the cutlery would be, or the mugs and the tankards would be kept.
Can I just vault the counter and just get on the other side?
You want to just hop over it
Yeah.
rather than walking around? Okay, sure. Yeah, can I have an acrobatics check, please?
Sure.
With an 8, you clumsily try and sort of vault this bar, which is only about 3 foot high, and you try and get over it. And as you do, you actually catch some of your armor on the bloodstain, so you've now smeared this bloody handprint. But you are on the other side of the counter. Congratulations.
Yay. Any other signs I can find there? Like any footprints, any marks, anything else beside the blood?
With a perception check of an 11, you don't see anything in that area. It looks like there's some blood on the floor below you. There's some blood on the countertop, but there doesn't appear to be anything else. There's no, nothing out of place, nothing broken.
No drinks.
You can see the same as Sienna that there are, kegs and tankards behind the bar, but there doesn't appear to be anybody there to help serve them, and you don't know how to operate it yourself. You can. What do you try and do? Tell me what you try to do.
Take a keg.
You try. Okay, so as you're looking at it, you can see that there's a keg with a tap on it, and you can see there are some tankards. Do you try and?
Take a tankard, I meant, and put it under the keg and try and open the lever.
Yeah, okay. Can I have you roll a 1d10 for me, please?
Explodes.
A 9. Okay, as you try and sort of unscrew this, you actually end up breaking it, doing enough damage to it when you're trying to force it open that you break the tap off cleanly, and now there's lager going all over the floor in front of you. You do think though that you're able to catch them, and I do say that in the action of trying to pour yourself a drink, you do successfully pour yourself a single tankard whilst the rest pours out on the floor, washing away some of the blood on the floor.
There was blood on the floor, great.
A little bit, yeah.
Cool.
What are the rest of you doing? As Drakathal's now cracked open this keg.
It is eerily similar, right? What he said.
It makes sense. But then again, it's so weird. Like, how would he know? How would any of this make any sense?
And there's no signs of struggle, no fights, only a little bit of blood.
I'll tap on Flanagan's shoulder. Do you think your good owlbear can sit outside and keep watch?
I? Alfonso? And I just point to the door. And I imagine he, squeezes through the door again. And sits right in front of the doorway, just staring out.
That way, if anyone's looking for us or coming back here, then at least someone's keeping an eye out. Also, Flanagan, you said you were a member of, the Coalition, right?
Yeah, he nods.
I mean, as someone who's a trained warrior, what would you and your expertise say about this situation?
Well, ideally, I would investigate the scene before everyone walked through it, but unfortunately, everyone's trampled through, and God knows what tracks there would have been now,
Seems like there's going to be a lot of blood getting washed away, so not really good to look at.
I have an idea. It's this magic, this book, it's like a void that sucks in things. What if people were sucked into something, and that's why there's no evidence, no struggle?
What, like a rift or
Far-fetched.
something?
I mean, there's been rifts all over. The last 24 hours, I've seen 3 already.
The only issue I have with that idea is there seems to be blood involved, which means someone was attacked, one way or another. I don't know what the barkeep had to do with anything. Maybe he knew information. Maybe someone was trying to get information out of him.
You want to ask me the question again?
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
I know what you said.
Flanagan, what exactly would the coalition do about this sort of thing? I mean, you have the experience. You should know better than the rest of us how to go about this.
The coalition would make sure that we had the right personnel here, and then what we'd do is we'd cordon off the area. We'd make sure that there was no footfall of traffic coming in and out of the building. What we'd also do is we would make sure that no one was tampering with any evidence, as he looks over at Drakenfall, pointing at like the blood and water
Like
around the
Gamma
bar.
and him look back at him, just sing.
So I would say that all of that's pretty much gone to shot. So I guess we wing it from here, right?
Well,
No pun
Let us
intended,
just leave. I'm
probably.
sure
Is
they'll
there-
come back up.
is there any perpetrator you might be suspecting could have done something like this? I mean, we've met some odd
bearing
people.
in mind, I've stepped 2 feet into this doorway. I
yeah.
wouldn't know as of yet. I'd need to check for tracks, but he's working round through all the okay. Look, I personally, if I were to try and find tracks of someone, I'd need everyone to stop moving.
I'll look at Dragonthal as he
So-
keeps moving. All right, Flanagan, take it away.
Okay, well, sure. And Flanagan will start gingerly walking around, making sure he doesn't disturb anything as he walks towards the bar.
I'll fly
There's
up
a
and hover
drink on the
above him
floor.
and just follow him as I'm flying above him.
Yeah, I'd say there's just enough room for you to fly over.
Okay, so first of all, we need to see what disturbances there have been in the establishment. Now, everyone's here. We've all had a good look around. What have we found that's unusual? It could be a scuff mark. It could be some muddy foot. Drakenfall, you found something?
Well, there's a bloody handprint, or at least there used to be. Was kind of your hand size.
Okay.
Maybe the barkeep.
And the handprint, was it from this side of the bar or your side of the bar?
I would say it was, well, from this side of the bar.
Okay, so the hand is facing towards us, correct?
The fingers, yes.
And the hand size, would you say that would accommodate one of my stature?
Yeah.
Well, that's a good sign. So, what we imagine is that the Halfling barkeep that was, working here just a few good hours ago when we were in here, has somehow gotten his hand bloody. Now, it could just be an accident. However, where is he? Now, exits, everyone. Has everyone spotted any exits in this establishment? Is there an upstairs? Is there a cellar? Anything anyone can see?
Well, there's lots
Is
of
there-
wine on the floor now.
Now that we're in here, is there any broken windows or maybe any any back
ask-
doors to this?
I will ask all of you to roll a perception check, seeing as you're now all
Okay.
investigating the scene, you're all looking around. We'll come to the rest of you as well in a moment. Cool, so we have a 19 from Caruth, a 12 from Bramble, 17 from Lady Sienna, 22 from Gamma, 21 from Drakenthal, and 26 from Flanagan. You guys have a pretty good view of the whole thing. I'd say Bramble, you're sort of as you're weaving through tables and things, you're trying not to hit your head on any of the lower beams. They're not used to having Furbolg in here, clearly, of someone at your stature walking around. So yeah, you're looking around, but you're trying to sort of avoid banging your head as you do so. I would say that those of you who rolled above a 15, which is everyone else, you can see around you, this looks almost pristine. Though eerie, it's as though it hasn't been touched in a few hours. You were here just last night, or yesterday evening, before you went out into the forest. You were there, you left around dusk. It's now fairly early in the morning. You haven't been away that long. It's light outside, and inside there's some candles that look like they've just burnt out. There's a couple still flickering. There's, it's clearly been tidied up and cleaned away. There's a few plates left out around, but other than that, it looks pretty much spotless, aside from a broken keg behind the bar, where you can see the tap has been torn off and it's spilled out on the floor. You can see there's a smeared, what used to be bloody handprint on the counter, and a little bit of blood on the floor. The door was slightly ajar as you came in. The bell was broken. And what I will say is there's no broken windows. You don't notice any hatches. It looks like this is very much a single standing tavern with fairly high ceilings, but beams that go across around about 7 foot up. And in the back left, there is what appears to be a small... It looks like a door, but on second glance, it looks like one that hasn't been opened or closed. It's actually nailed shut the whole way around from the inside. So it doesn't look like it's ever really been used. It's now got shelves across it as well. So, yeah, that's what you see.
Is there any, like, I don't know, maybe knives that are, like, just laying around, or anything that look like that could be a weapon that was used? Or it's just nothing, just blood?
There's just a little bit of evidence, you would call it, in Flanagan's words, behind the counter on the floor. There's a little bit of blood and a bloody handprint, now blood smeared on the counter. Aside from that, this is a very tidy establishment and doesn't look like...
You said there was wine on the floor, the other side of the bar?
Sorry, beer or lager that was poured out from the keg, yeah.
And because obviously I had a slight internet issue just a moment ago, was that one of us that had done that, or was that there when we got here?
You know what? Okay, you know that it was Drakenthal pouring himself a drink, most likely, as you heard the tap get ripped off as he tried to pour himself a tankard of lager.
Okay.
And he kind of told himself, "Shit."
Okay.
As he did it.
Audibly, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, then that's fine.
This looks like a tavern like any other. After hours or before hours, so...
Yeah,
Why
but
are we here?
Can I recall if I've ever seen a tavern empty like that? Like, I've been traveling a lot, right?
I would say that you probably very rarely walk into an empty tavern. It's not something that adventurers or mercenaries on the road would necessarily do. So I don't think you've probably really seen one that's not open and lively. It's very rare to see them this early in the morning, first of all, but without being filled to the brim with people ordering drinks and things. This is very unusual.
And Eagle, Tanner asked a minute ago about windows.
There are windows along the sides. There's a couple windows, just standard
All
windows.
shut?
They're all shut. They're basically more like glass panes rather than windows.
And you made a comment about the candles. You said that the candles look like all the wicks are burnt completely through.
A lot of them have been. It looks as though they've been left there and they've just burnt.
Yeah,
burnt down.
Someone hasn't put them out. It looks like the wick has just burnt.
Exactly, and there's a couple that are still flickering on the tables. And things.
Okay.
Well, Flanagan, you have any information? I have some guesses, but...
Well, I would say, with all of the candles, having their wicks completely burnt through, that's very unlike someone that would be shutting up shop for an evening. So, what I would imagine is, whoever the perpetrator was, did this before the shop was completely shut up, meaning the Halfling man, being of small stature, a taller individual, could easily have picked him up and walked straight out with him. So, what I would imagine is, the man has been potentially abducted, but why was there a bloody handprint on the counter? And better yet, why did that dodgy elf-looking bloke know about it?
It could be
Well-
self-defense.
Blood on the counter, blood on the floor, nothing yet left to drink. Technically he's wrong, because the drink's now on the floor, but that ain't the point.
Well, the drink is kind of gone now, right? So
I'm gonna...
Also, I will have to, citate you for that, because that is technically damage to public property, so I will have to write that up in my book. So
Um,
I do apologize
Who
there.
you gonna report
Dragonfall,
that to?
can I just have the spelling of your name,
Sure.
please, sir?
Sir Flanagan, if we can hold off on that until after.
Oh no, of course,
Everything
there's
else,
pressing
yes.
matters.
This
is his book.
Can I?
I would like to.
Sorry, go on. Go on.
I would like to think the only next step would be to head to that tower, right? I mean, obviously things could be connected here, and that lady who went with us to the shrine dipped. I would like to think she might have had some sort
However, I don't know if I would say she looked strong enough to abduct a halfling by dragging him out of
agree.
here.
I agree. Maybe she's with other people.
Raid.
But I tell you who would. Do you remember that fella Brock?
Wait, the guy who was a part of the coalition
member who just so happened to be hanging out in this tavern with that book when he gave it to us. He's a big fella. He's the only inconspicuous looking bloke that I've seen so far, and although he did tell me he was a coalition member, you know, potentially he could be the perpetrator here. I'm only going off instinct.
Have you checked his ID if he is actually with the coalition?
Well, unfortunately, I have no way of communicating with the coalition as of now. My sending stone was in my pack left back at base, so I can't quite get on the old blower to him and find that out, I'm afraid.
You guys don't have like a tattoo or a marking to represent you guys are a part of the coalition?
I got me badge, and he taps a little badge on his blouse.
Did he have a badge?
I believe he did.
He did have a badge, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Can I ask, whilst you guys are having this conversation, quickly, Kalara, very quietly in the bottom here, what are you doing since walking in?
Kalara's done nothing. Kalara has stood there, hasn't moved, hasn't said a thing.
Okay, sorry, Caruth, continue.
Why are we concerning ourselves with the fate of some small man if we have other matters to tend to? We still stand in this. What?
It is a good question to ask. I will give you that.
Why are we concerning ourselves with a potential abduction? Well, I'd hope that, you know, if one of you got abducted, there'd be a coalition member looking for you too.
Yeah, but what
if I got
do we have?
abducted, then my fate is sealed. If I wasn't able to win, that is my own fault.
Well, that's not quite how the lore works, I'm afraid. There,
I think what Caruth is saying is, I think we're spending too much time investigating a scene that we have no evidence other than blood at, and maybe we should turn our focus somewhere else to fully understand what's actually going on, like the tower where we were said to take the book to.
Well, I agree, but if we hadn't come in here in the first place, we wouldn't know that the abduction had happened, right?
I agree.
Do we even know it's an abduction? I mean, the barkeep might have just hurt his hand and rushed out to find a healer.
That could be true, but then if he had done that, I'm sure we'd have spotted blood trails from the scene of the crime. Exhibit A, and he points to the bar, and to the door where we came in from.
Has anyone seen any villagers out? Like outside as we entered?
I will remind you that as you guys entered the town earlier, it was eerily quiet before you decided to enter the tavern, as you were on your way to the Whisperwind Tower.
Like, it just seems very unusually, you know, empty.
There are no villages here, no village in the town. There's a mark of blood here, no person whatsoever. That's not very a lead to follow. So the only lead we do have is the tower.
What about we just find people, any people?
I agree. I do think that we do need to find someone in the vicinity. I think going to a tower that is relating to a book that we found literally yesterday is quite different to this sort of case. But, you know, I think, why don't we go outside? We'll see what's out there, see what we can see for ourselves with our eyes and our ears. And then maybe if we can't find anyone or anything, the tower's our next point of call.
I could fly around, see if...
I'll do you one favor, since you seem to be feeling so passionate. Why don't we leave, board the place up, put a sign out, no entry, and once we figure out what's going on, We can come back and investigate. There's no
don't-
people in town, so no one's missing out on their beer or tavern food or whatever.
Oh no, I don't believe we need to board the place up. I just think, maybe shut the door. That'll be enough.
So, do you guys step outside? Is that what you're doing next?
I'll leave
I
the,
guess.
Why
the
not?
empty tankard on the table, turned upside down, and just leave 5 gold on top of it.
On top of it? Okay, yeah. So you sort of like place it upside down and put some gold pieces on the top. Very nice. As you leave it on the thing, and you remembered that usually a tankard would cost you 5 gold pieces of the Golden Mist ale that you had last time you were here, which is, of course, the keg that you broke. Anyways, as you guys step outside, you are returned to Meadowshade, where before you is basically the town as you remember it. There doesn't appear to be too many people around. You do see across the way there's someone standing, looking cautiously. I would say if I could have Flanagan, as you were probably the one who stepped out first, being closest to the door, could I have a perception check from you, please?
You said that we see him?
You do see him.
I'll roll the perception, but immediately I'll be like, hello there! As I'd shout out to him straight away.
Yep.
16.
With a 16, yeah, you see this is clearly one of the tavern goers who you saw the night before. You actually recognize that he's one of the dwarven gentlemen who was sitting in the corner as you walked past and did sort of a round saying hello to people on your way in. He sort of cautiously puts his head around and looks at you as he sort of sticks his head around the edge of the building, which is sort of a stone foundation with wooden building parts above it. And he sort of says to you, "What are you doing here? What brought you here? Why were you just in the tavern?"
That'd be the same question I was about to ask you there, sir. You got some information for me?
Oh boy.
Wait there, let me just get my flip book. And he pulls out, gets a little quill.
As
What
you
happened here?
As you do this, the rest of you are also with Flanagan here as you all come around, and you can see visibly with a 16, you can see that this guy looks like he's had the blood drained from his face. He is pale. He looks like he's seen some things. You're used to dealing with this as a coalition member. You've spoken to a lot of people who've seen a lot of things. This is not something uncommon for you, but for the rest of you, it's quite jarring that you see this dwarf, which you would normally think is quite a sort of burly race to sort of stoic and strong in their ways. This guy looks like he desperately needs to go to the tavern. Anyways, as you sort of pull out your flip book, it's at this moment when you pull out your flip book, he notices the coalition member badge on your shoulder here, and he says, "Oh, okay. Oh, it's so good of you to come.
First your name, please, sir."
My name is Tharek, Tharek, Tharek. I am a member of Meadowshade. I'm a member of the Tavern Goers. We're a little club. We go every night, and I don't know.
Sir, calm down. May I just ask you? You're looking a little under the weather. Are you okay?
What's in the tavern? What did you see?
That's not the question that I asked. I'm afraid.
I'm
Can you
okay.
just tell me if you're okay?
I don't know. After what I saw yesterday, I don't know if I'll ever be okay.
Here, have this, and I give him a good berry.
He sort of takes it from you and just looks at it. He sort of squishes it in his hand.
It's nourishment that'll keep you chipper, and it might make you feel a bit better. It's okay. Look, I've got another one.
And you can see he's, after a while, he sort of chews it and swallows it. Yeah, I am sorry. Last night,
That's okay.
It was the dead of night, and a few of us were just leaving the tavern, and we got down the road and could hear. It sounded like a crash come from the front door of the tavern.
Okay.
And as we turned back, there was just darkness. All the lights, they were flickering, and the glass on the windows. Whatever stepped out of that tavern last night, whatever it was, I don't know. I've never seen anything like it in this forest.
Could you describe it for me? Was it bipedal or was it quadrupedal? Was it 2
It
legs?
looked-
6 legs?
It
4
was.
legs?
It was on. It looked like a very large gentleman, but
Okay.
with the devil's horns and the tail like eyes of fire. I've never seen anything like it. It was like
Pale
the
eyes of fire.
devil himself.
And did you happen to see if this figure happened to have the barkeep of this establishment with him?
Arlen.
Aye.
Oh God, have they got Arlen? Arlen.
They? Have they got Arlen?
Whatever
who,
this-
who would they
Whatever
be?
this demon beast is.
Okay. But just to confirm, you said large gentleman. So how tall are we speaking? Are we speaking?
He looks, as you say this, he looks up at Bramble. He points at Bramble. About his
Bigger
size, I'd
or
say.
short? About the same. Okay.
Probably a little bit wider.
Yeah. I turn to Bramble. Bramble, where were you? Oh no, I know that. Okay, so back to
With
the
you
point.
at the
back to the
campfire?
point. Back to the point here. You mentioned darkness, correct? Would you say that this darkness was like a mist that was obscuring the establishment?
That's exactly it. It was like a really dark mist came across the
Okay.
town. All I could see was the eyes.
The town.
The whole town was covered in a mist that I couldn't see anything. I turned back after
Okay.
hearing the crash and just saw flickering in the windows.
The whole town was covered in darkness. That's quite some powerful magic.
That's why
I don't
everybody's
happen
left.
to know of any. Everyone has already
Yeah,
left the town.
I came back because I forgot something, but
What
no
did
one
you
else
forget,
is here.
if you don't mind me asking? That to return to
You can
to
you
the
see
town
that
is-
he pulls out from his side and sort of holds his hand out in front of you. It looks like a little carving. It's like a little stone carving. From
Is that what
what you
you
can
came back
see, it looks as though someone's attempted to carve like a sheep or a goat of some description.
Mhm.
It was my boys. I couldn't
Okay.
leave it here.
No, that's absolutely fine. I just wanted to confirm exactly what you were returning to town for, because obviously it's quite a dangerous endeavor to come back in less than 24 hours as well.
I waited for,
You're a
waited for
brave
the light
man.
to come back.
You're a brave man. No, I understand. Okay. Before I ask the rest of my troop here, who are working on behalf of the coalition, not official coalition members as of yet, but working besides me on behalf of me, can I just ask one final question? You wouldn't happen to know of any magic users in the area that might be able to uncover such a thing? As you can tell from my stature, I'm not quite the magical practitioner myself. Would you be able to point me in the direction of anyone or any names of anyone that might be able to help?
Well, the only one in the area is... I suppose there's the Whisperwind.
Oh, do they happen to have a first name? Something beginning with a T?
Yeah, Heath pauses for a second. I believe it's something like Thel'varis or Thel'varis. He is a very
Okay.
benevolent man. He's very kind. He paid for my home and all. This whole area is in his debt in a way.
He paid for your home, and you don't know his first name.
It's
That's mighty
Mis-
generous, that,
Mr.
isn't it?
Whisperwind. He's very rarely around, but
Okay.
I must go. I don't
No,
want to be
I-
here unless you've
Before
got
you
more
do-
questions.
Before you do, just 2 moments, and I turn to the rest of the group. Anything else you'd like to ask him before I send this gentleman on his way?
It's at this point that Kalara just kind of repeats. She goes, "Boys, my boy," and she just seems like she snaps out of a daze. And just there's for the briefest of moment, there's almost like a flash of green across her eyes, and she goes, "Sorry, what's been happening? What's been happening? Everything's a bit hazy from the past day."
Well, apparently it's been pretty hazy around here too, because some darkness come out of nowhere, and some big old horny tailed eyes of fire large gentleman the size of Bramble, which, I'm still not counting Bramble out, but has potentially abducted the the tavern keeper here. Kalara, please, keep with it, Kalara. This is quite important business. We can't be having no daydreaming now.
As you're kind of clicking in front of her face, she kind of shakes her head, and whoever's standing next to her, she puts her hand on their shoulder, unless it's Bramble, in which case it would be like this. So she put it on like his elbow.
Here. Have some water. Just take a little sip, and you'll be
the
okay.
right one.
Sorry, that was the liquor. No, it's the wrong one again. I do apologize. Here you go.
No, that helps. That certainly wakes one up. I'm so sorry.
labels.
Just
I
everything for
remember
the
his
past
name.
day, it's just a bit of a haze.
I remember his name.
Whose name?
Sorry, I've had a few drinks myself. It's as you open this cork, you can see he sort of the whiff of the liquor in the air around you clearly sent something into the dwarf, and he recalled some memories from the past. He sort of eyes up your water skin, your liquor water skin, or your liquor skin. He eyes this up as he says, Thel'varis, that was his name.
Thel'varis. And could you give us a very quick description? Is he an elf? Is he human? Is he a halfling?
He's from these parts. He's elven. His family were elven. He's a benevolent mage come nobleman. People come all across to meet him.
Does he own a raven by any chance?
Own a raven?
Like a raven perched on his shoulder.
I don't believe so. I know.
Well, that's good.
Anything
Alright,
else,
well-
or can I leave this place?
Let's let him get back to his family. I don't think we're getting anything else out of this.
No,
guy.
I agree. Look, and you clearly caught a whiff of this. Have this on me, and only drink it when you get home, okay?
Oh, I can't. I
Not
can't
on the
even.
road.
Yeah, he takes a sniff of it. That's
No,
no
please,
gold,
look,
that's no
here you
golden
go.
mist ale. I don't drink that stuff. And he steps away and walks away, leaving you just holding your water skin of liquor. You can see he almost sort of retches a little bit as he takes a whiff. He's clearly had a few drinks the night before. It could be he's still recovering from it.
I cork it, put it back on my hip.
As he leaves, could I take out the book
Yeah.
and open it, since he mentioned the TV name?
You can open it up, yeah. As you open it, I would say you open up the pages, and they're all blank aside from the one which, as you pull open the leather-bound cover of the book, it opens automatically on this page, but you can see it flickers through blank pages, and on the center of the page it just reads, "Find it, bring it to me," and then -T.W.
Okay, so I think it's safe to assume TW is this Thel'varis Whisperwind. We all agree?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Okay, that's good. We had an eyewitness say that we saw a large 8-foot tall. Are you about 8 foot?
7.
Okay, 7 foot tall gentleman with horns, a tail, and eyes of fire.
Can I roll like a history check, or like see if I know any like lore regarding such creatures or whatever? I mean, I've studied a bit, so
You can definitely roll a history check. Anybody who else wants to roll a history check based on the information that was given?
that's poor.
Can I do it more based off Karut's the day before, where
Sure.
she might be like, is this a creature similar to the other creatures that have come out of the rifts from the day before?
Mhm.
Would that be
Can
history
I-
or intelligence?
I would say still history.
Can I do mine from a more bestial perspective and go for like a survival to see if there's any beasts that would resemble such a thing?
Beasts?
'Cause I
I'll
don't think-
I'll allow it, yes, a survival check.
Okay. I can't
Um,
imagine there will be, but I just don't think Flanagan would think that way.
Perfect.
Inclined.
So we've got an 11 from Lady Sienna, we have a 15 from Bramble, a 5 from Kalara, 17 from Gamma, 7 from Caruth, and 18 from Flanagan, who's got some decent rolls today. I would say that none of you... I would say, first of all, Kalara, you haven't heard anything like this. You're not sure what it could be. As far as you're concerned, it is a fairly big bramble-sized, horn, devilish-looking creature with glowing eyes.
It is Bramble's twin brother.
Yep. Caruth, you're very similar. You are not that familiar with what this could be. With the 7, you're not sure. Sienna, it's almost like you go through an index of things that you're aware of in your history, but there's nothing that pops out as being just fitting this description. Bramble, I would say, with a 15. In fact, the rest of you, those above a 15, you recall... You wouldn't know of anything specifically to this description. Flanagan, you don't know of any beasts which match this. The largest one...
Yeah, would mine more be like, I can rule out it's definitely not a beast?
You can rule out with an 18. You can rule out that this doesn't sound like a beast. It sounds like it's more human in nature, like another creature or demon or something along those lines. You've ruled out it's not a beast that you're familiar with, at least. And Gamma, I would say that you definitely haven't heard of anything. You've gone through everything. This doesn't match any descriptions. Same for you, Bramble. I would say that you're also with your history of sort of the areas and the nature. You're unfamiliar with any beasts as well. But yes, your dwarven companion walks away from you as he sort of steps out towards the road that leads into Meadowshade. He's over there, by the way. And as he points, just over there, there's a little cone over the hills, and you can see there's just a little, what appears to be like a cone with a flat top in the distance of this tower.
Thank you for your service, Tharic. We'll certainly make sure that your name's put in our report as doing us good. Thank you.
Cheers. Right. It sort of rumbles down the hills.
Yeah. Okay, so interesting that he said that this Thel'varis, bought his house, but you weren't quite familiar with exactly what his first name was on first recall. So it doesn't sound like they're really on speaking terms. Now, why would someone buy someone an house if they don't really know him?
Well, specifically, he said Mr. Whisperwind, as though there's some form of ownership or hierarchy.
Agreed. And it weren't like he was saying I rent from him. He said he bought my house, is what he said.
And that they are indebted to him in a way.
Aye. What if... Now, this could be a... Oh, go ahead.
Come to settle his debt.
But why? Why now?
Well, what if the entire town is his?
Could
I
be.
was thinking the same thing, yeah.
So, and what I was thinking is if he's such a powerful mage, why is he in the property market? What if this right here is more like a testing ground?
And we are about to bring the power to him.
Put blame on anyone.
Aye.
But maybe someone removed some kind of protection of the sacred grounds of this area. Now he can do whatever he pleases. You get my
so you're saying by removing the amulet from the forest down yonder, that's lifted a protection for the town.
Well, the Vanessa lady was very, insistent that seems like this,
she also didn't try
place
and
that's
stop
older
us.
than anything
It's not that
around.
important,
Listen, if I may just recall, we were brought here from a note of someone trying to ask us to do something. If this guy really needed us, of all people, to go out into a forest and retrieve a necklace, so all these people were already in this dude's debt, I don't think he needed us to go out there and get a stone to begin with.
So why did he abduct us if he didn't need us? That doesn't line up.
That's the point. I don't think it's connected to the stone that we retrieved. The necklace that we retrieved.
I don't think maybe this Whisperwind fellow is the one who brought us here. Surely,
No.
maybe there was a higher power that brought us here.
No, no. I would say that the book is Mr. Whisperwind's. We can all agree to that by fact. We had fucking what was his name, Brock, that Minotaur lad.
Yeah.
He had the book, and all of a sudden we all appeared there. Now he got the book from Brimbleborough, where I'm from a museum down there. Now, he's saying that he collected this book. Did he get transported here when he picked the book up? Or,
I believe
is that
so,
what he
yes.
said? Right.
I believe so.
So
Yeah,
whoever put the book in the museum might also be here. Because how did the book get transported to the museum if when he took it, he got transported here?
Look, I'm not one to like to think too much about things. I like to look at the surface level. We know the dude's at the tower. We know we're supposed to take that book to the tower. We can sit here and theorize all day.
I agree.
What the problem is, but until we actually get there and figure out what the heck's going on, we're not really gonna know. So I say we stay on our guard, we get ready for a fight, which is what I presume is gonna happen when we get there, and refuse to hand this dude back the book. And I think we should just head there and get ready.
All of them.
All I would say before we leave is if this Mr. Whisperwind has a book that can teleport people by ripping pages out, why on earth would he let that just be lying about? Maybe
Perhaps he has planned for it to happen.
Maybe he's hired Brock to find it, to bring it back to him, but needs the extra pages, and he's
You're
working
really
for him.
against this Brock guy. You're really,
I'm just saying.
really. I just think you're jealous of another.
When a man says to me, "I saw a horned figure with a tail and red eyes walk out of that tavern," and we just so happen to know a bloke who had the book, who had horns, who had a tail, and was a large gentleman around Bramble's size. Now, unless it was Bramble, and he looks at Bramble.
Do you see any
do realize
Only
there's
other
more
individual.
than 2 large people on this?
Listen, okay, we'll keep an eye out for
Could be
Your
other
your fellow
individuals.
coalition member. But I think how
No,
we
but
should go
you know
about
tall
this.
individuals.
What?
Yeah, no, I know other tall people exist,
Never mind.
Drakenthal. I understand that.
Okay, are you wanting
Yeah,
us
but
to
you kind
think
of
it's
like,
you?
like
you're-
pulling at
are you
straws. saw
jealous?
two people,
We're-
and it can't be Bramble, and therefore it's him.
We are hitting
Like,
a
why is it the
wall
Minotaur
here.
now?
We are hitting.
Forget
a wall.
about the tall people. Sienna, do you still hold the amulet?
I pull it out, yeah.
Perhaps if we are to go into this fight, and if this amulet is as strong as you said, you might want to learn how to harness it rather than giving it back. If you can.
I wouldn't know how. I mean, unless I could identify it, but I need like a pearl for it. And I don't know where to get a pearl at this point.
I would say
Which is-
that whilst you guys are standing here having this discussion, Flanagan in particular, you can see with your survival and your sort of background, you can see that there's definitely rain on the horizon. There's some stormy clouds in the distance. It's currently, although it's daytime and there is sunlight, you can see that the clouds are moving in your direction, and you do feel a gust picking up.
Storm's brewing. I would say we want to get a move on before that hits us.
I agree.
Me too.
Yes.
Let's get a move on.
All right. Karuth, you want to take point? I'll be right beside you.
Sure. I can see the tower, right?
Yeah, you can see
Yeah.
the tower.
Yeah, she'll
Drakenthal?
start.
If you want to sit
Yeah.
next to Sienna in the back, make sure no one tries to snatch the
little guys.
the necklace from her.
I'll keep him safe. No
Sure,
worries.
we'll do it.
Great. Okay.
And as you guys begin to head down the valley towards the tower in the distance, sort of hills of meadows, as you step down and you sort of find yourself at what appears to be essentially the top of a hill looking down at a wizard tower. There's a small, to your left on the way down, there's a small old building with what looks like overgrown weeds and trees around it. It obviously hasn't been tended to in some time. It looks like it's not necessarily associated with the tower in any way. It's just a building that's obviously been overgrown or overkept. But before you stands a very grand looking elven tower with a large stone gate, and then within what you can see within that is a tower with sort of spikes and pillars all the way up. It is elven of architecture, very similar to what those of you familiar with Verdantara would know. Sylvanthal might have something similar. The elven city would have something similar to these kind of architectural features. And it does look like it sort of pierces up high into the sky. Very, very tall sort of steps all the way up. Do you guys proceed towards the tower?
Why not?
Yeah?
I would say why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As you guys then step towards the tower, we will have you come over to the tower here. As you step towards the tower, we have all of you basically arrive at the stone archway below the at sort of the base of the tower. You've got this big stone archway, and you guys sort of step through. It's very open and easy to get through. There's no gate. There's no door. It's just an archway that you step through. And before you, at the base of the tower, appears to be a big sort of archway with sort of gold trimmings around it and a large stone door. What do you do?
What was it he said about the doors? Swings both
Big.
ways.
The door
Door
unguarded
locked.
swings both ways, and a door locked needs to be begged. So if it's locked, just beg. Ask it pretty, please.
Can't we just knock?
Or we just
Well,
open it.
You don't
Looks
go
like a normal
into an
door, right?
establishment
Clara goes up to the door and just says, "Please, door, can you let us in?"
As you do so, the door opens and it sort of creaks open.
You just have to be polite.
Before you stands a elven gentleman in robes that sort of flow all the way down to the ground. The tower interior is elegant. It looks as though there's red carpets with gold in sort of almost looks like gold itself has been intricately woven into them. There's that sort of pristine look. It's well lit with sort of flickering magical chandeliers. And in this hallway, you see a gentleman with an elven man with silver hair and a perfectly tailored robe, who sort of turns to you as the door opens, and he says to you, "Ah, what a delight! Welcome. Who is it you are, and what brings you to the tower?"
Can I just ask, sorry guys, just for the reference of how long did it take us to get there? Like, is he really not aware what happened in the town?
You would say you could see the top of the tower from a distance. It probably took you at least an hour to get there on foot.
Okay.
Just walking over these hills. So he sort of welcomes you in.
Yeah.
Hello, kind sir. My name's Kalara Drakian. You wouldn't, by chance, be a Mr. Whisperwind, would you?
Oh, no. Mr. Whisperwind was my father. I am Lord Thel'varis Whisperwind. How can I be of service to you?
Was your father?
Mr.
That's-
Whisperwind, yes. It's just a smaller
That's
joke.
past tense.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, he did pass many years ago. Tyramon never was one for eloquence.
I so do apologise for all the questions. How many years ago is quite a few?
Well, I'm an elf, you see. I live quite a long time. Well, let's see. Must be at least a century now.
Time.
What is it
Excuse
that
me.
brings you here? Yes, madam at the back.
Oh, yes. My name is Sienna. I see you're quite the purveyor of fine tapestries and other wares.
Indeed. You have a keen eye.
I almost go into a sales pitch.
You start talking about your tapestries and sort of what you've been up to.
Yeah.
Kalara will use this distraction to move back, and she will, just so she's hidden behind people, she will subtly point towards Flanagan, and a little green puff will come out as she casts Message. And simply says to Flanagan, "Thoughts?" It's clearly Clara's point.
Who fucking said that?
Kalara will cast Message again and say, "It's Kalara. I'm using a spell called Message. You can whisper back to me."
Okay.
Kalara will cast Message again and say, "What are your thoughts on the current situation? Only we can hear this."
Oh. I'm not quite sure yet.
Kalara doesn't cast Message again.
As this is happening, Thel'varis, the gentleman in front of you, he says to you, Sienna, "So, these all sound very intricate, and by the sounds of it, you've done quite a lot of work with some very eloquent and noble people, and even some royalty. But is that what brings you to the tower today?"
No, I'm sorry. I was just distracted for a little bit.
By all means, I
you-
would be interested in your services. Perhaps you could come back another time and let me know more about them. I definitely have the coin. But what is it that brings you here?
Absolutely. Yes, but for now, do you know what has happened in the village?
In the village? Which one? I'm afraid I don't know. My father paid for all the villages around these parts. Which one are you referring to?
Oh wait, can I roll an insight on that?
You definitely can roll an insight.
13.
With a 13, he is, you believe, telling the truth.
Wait, hang on. Did you say he paid for all the villages?
Yes, it's not... I don't know which village you're referring to, but it's not something I like to talk about too much. Father, he identified an arcane conduit here. I see you're a wizard yourself. Perhaps you can feel the energies. And it's at this point, Sienna, you feel around you, the very room feels that you're standing in, the ground that you're standing on, feels as though there's this really powerful energy emanating from it. It's only just come to your attention now as you try and feel around you, but it's as though the energy is surging through you from every direction as you're standing here on the doorstep. I would say that the rest of you, you're also hearing this conversation as he sort of gestures around the room. My father identified this was an arcane conduit of sorts where lots of energy is found. Unfortunately, when he attempted to first capture and address this power, we did cause some issues in the nearby villages. You see, as someone who cared, my father saw fit to use what wealth we had as lords of Verdantara to pay for these villages and reimburse them for much of their destroyed belongings and some of their family
Question.
members. Yes.
If it's not of any hustle to you, there's a storm coming. I don't know if you can tell. If you don't mind, if we may head into a nice little common area and have the discussion inside instead of
by all means. Oh,
out here.
yes. Yes, Master Owlin, please, follow me
Gamma.
inside. Gamma, was it? Please come in. And he gestures for all of you to follow him in. So what is it that brings you here?
As we start looking or walking in, can I just roll perception to see if I notice anything off about the inside as we move to another room? Like just on glance, if there's anything that might seem off?
Yes, go ahead and roll me a perception check. With a 14, as you walk in, it looks very illustrious. There's nothing that seems particularly off. It's very much beautiful. It's pristine. The marble work on the inside is very intricately done. Nothing's out of place. There's no hard edges. Everything looks very tidy. Even as you walk in, there are food baskets on the left side on the shelves, which are positioned in a way that the fruit itself looks fresh, almost freshly picked, but it's in such a clean bowl that there's no leaves hanging off it. It's very tidy. As you guys step through, he says, please, I was actually about to have some lunch. If anybody would like, you're more than welcome to join me, but I must implore you, what brings you to the tower?
Well, as we said, there has been a little bit of an issue in Meadowshade, and we're just trying to find out what happened there.
Meadowshade.
And if you said that initially there have been some issues with the villages nearby, but your father has been long gone, we were just wondering if you knew anything about this.
I don't know anything of issues at Meadowshade. That's just up on the hill there, is it not?
Can I roll insight on that?
You can definitely roll insight.
While he's rolling,
am I good to roll insight as well?
Whether
Yeah,
he's lying
anybody who wants
about not knowing.
I would like to whisper to Gamma. Gamma, did you tell him your name?
I did tell him my name, yeah.
Otherwise, it would be sus that he would know your name.
Yeah, but I did tell him my name. He called me an Owlin at first.
Just to be sure. Just to be sure.
Yeah, no. You might want to pay more attention to the conversation, Bramble. That's how you're going to get information.
I'm hungry. We have lunch. It's going to be fine.
If you're hungry, then
Wait,
grab
sorry.
something to eat.
Did someone say we're having lunch?
Yes, he did.
Oh, hello there. Oh, my. As he notices
Alfonso, come on in, we're having lunch!
He notices that the owlbearer stepped through the door. Oh, yes, I assume... Oh, well... And he sort of...
This
flicks,
way, is it? I can see the dining table.
You see him flick his hand... He sort of flicks his hands up and clicks as the doorway that you guys stepped through that wasn't big enough for an owlbear to walk through expands to a double size so that Alfonso can squeeze through. Right. I will say, going back to the insight checks, those of you who rolled insight, the highest we had was a 19, which 3 people actually rolled a 19. Drakenthal, Flanagan, and Sienna, you all noticed that as he says, as he says this, he's aware of where Meadowshade is. You get the impression that Meadowshade rings a bell to him, but he doesn't seem to be hiding anything about what he said. It's very much... he's told you something, and from what you can tell, it's the truth. He goes, "Oh, is that not the one up the hill?" Yeah. So nothing seems out of place with that.
So he doesn't know about any issues, apparently.
He doesn't seem to know about any of the issues up on the hill at Meadowshade. No.
Mr. Thel'varis, or
Lord Thel'varis, yes. I haven't seen many Gith out here. Hello. As he sort of
You're
gives
welcome.
you a sort of look up and down. You can see he's got a slight bit of disgust on his face, but it's polite about it.
Is there a bathroom anywhere?
A bathroom? Well, actually, to be honest with you, there was an outhouse on your way in. You probably saw it by the gate.
Yeah, but I can't go out there. If it starts raining, my feathers get all wet. And
Well, Actually,
it's bad.
the bathroom's upstairs, and I wouldn't want to permit you to go up there on your own.
No, it's fine. I can. Yeah.
Many people get
Flanagan.
lost.
Flanagan will come with me. Ain't that right, Flanagan? Come on, my dear friend.
No, I'm not crossing streams.
Fine.
I simply can't let you go up there. At risk of you getting lost amongst the artifacts and other rooms and doorways. However, there is the house outside. So you mentioned there was an issue with Meadowshade. What brings you to the tower? What is it I can help you with?
I sort of look at Dragonfall.
There was a very scared dwarf when we entered the village this morning, and no one seems to be around. And he kind of pointed us towards your tower about magic and stuff. Because he believes there was some kind of darkness conjured.
Darkness. Right, well, that's odd. It sounds more like coalition business, though. I notice you've got two of you here.
He did mention your sadly deceased father. Just out of curiosity, so we could check if there was any magical phenomenon that may have occurred there, or even just to double check that everything's fine there. Where is your father's resting place?
Oh, my father, well, I haven't been there in some time, and I really should tidy the place, but you may have seen it on your way in. We do have a resting site of the Whisperwind family members in the crypt outside on the hill. There's not much there, but I haven't been there in some time myself. I don't think that would have anything to do with magic in Meadowshade, of all places.
Okay,
Please.
I'm not waiting anymore. I'm gonna start tucking in. If
Yes.
you lot ain't coming in, it's not my fault. All right.
Please, come. Do sit. As he sort of ushers you all in. Do sit. There's stew.
I'm gonna.
Nothing cursed, I promise you. Not yet, at least. And he
Why would
winks
it be
at you.
cursed?
As he winks at you.
I gotta head out to the outhouse. If you guys are gonna sit around for a bite to eat.
Okay.
And as the
He
others
sure
go,
needs to go. Damn. Ooh. All right.
as the others all go through, Kalara will go through last and close the doors behind us to just obscure things for a little. For our Owlin buddy here.
So Gamma is leaving, and the rest of you are now sitting at the table with the doors closed.
Gamma's gonna head back into that main hallway. As soon as he hears that door shut behind him, I'm gonna start looking towards the other two doors and see if I can figure out if there's a stairs around here to go, and try to see if I can very quiet and sneakily head upstairs.
Could I assist that sneakiness? Because even though basically once Drakenthor and Sienna are through, Kalara will be in view of everyone in the room. But could I use thaumaturgy to close that front door?
The very front door.
To make it like he's gone out to the outhouse.
You can do that. I'll allow that. So can I ask for those of you who are going to the table to move your characters to the location you're going to be sitting at? As Thel'varis, those of you who are sitting at the table, there's a blue loincloth stretched across a very long oak table. You can see that the chairs that you're sitting on are fit for kings. They're almost throne-like. It's very, very soft leather that you sort of sink into with almost golden armchair handles, and you sort of sit back into it, and you can feel a sense of importance as you do so. Drakenthal, sorry, go on. What was it you were going to ask?
As we walk in, I would like to whisper to Lady Sienna, and just tell her to not get too close to him, just with the necklace and all. But yeah, just be careful.
Hang on 1 second. I use mind link to him, so I'll throw that up for you. I should be able to sort of telepathically speak to him without having to resort to whispering.
That
Don't
helps.
worry. Yeah, don't worry. I think we'll be quite all right. If anything, he sounds like he has no clue as to what his father was up to. Although I have to admit, the upstairs part is a bit suspicious.
Well, he seems not aware necessarily, but he also doesn't seem very straightforward about everything.
We'll see. We'll see what he has to say.
Perfect.
Flanagan,
And then I guess
have you...
we'll go sit down.
Bramble?
Flanagan, have you tasted those ribs? Those
Oh,
are
I've-
splendid.
I've been salivating over them, but I've had two drumsticks
Oh.
before while I was waiting, to be honest. And Alfonso, well, let's just say there was a bowl of mash, but that's gone now.
You simply
But
must...
look at those potatoes.
Have you eaten, Master Halfling? Oh, I forget. Halflings have a second stomach, don't you? My, as he conjures up another... As you see on your plate in front of you,
Ooh.
conjures up a bowl of, like, stew or it looks
Don't
very
mind if
similar
I
to something
do.
you do at home. Yeah.
I have a... As he's, like, eating, he's, like, asking just a question. He's like, I have a quick question for you. Your pops, you said passed away over a century ago?
I believe it was about that long, yes. I will be honest, I
Hey.
don't keep track of the year specifically, but...
No, I understand. You elves obviously live quite some time, so I imagine it. You know, it surely flies by. I can imagine. But I just had a question. So what was your name? Sorry, because when we said Mr. Whisperwind, you alluded to that not being your name. But my friend Karoof here a moment ago referred to you as Thel'varis, was it?
Yes.
And I believe you responded.
Yes.
So
So I am Lord Thel'varis Whisperwind of Verdantara. My father, Tyremon Whisperwind, was the previous
Okay.
lord of the area.
Understood, Tyremon. Sorry, that's the distinction I didn't quite get there. But
He
no, I
built
do
this tower
appreciate that. Thank you.
and trained me in
Interesting.
everything
So,
I know.
and you said that it was an arcane conduit to the local area,
Correct.
and you purchased all the land for the towns and stuff. Why?
Well,
Why?
What happened long ago is not something we like to talk about too much here, but
Of course,
long
but we
ago,
will.
my father was involved with a lot of the duty work from essentially the sort of archmages of the region. The Keepers of Balance, he was one of those which assisted in maintaining the natural order since the Convergence. It's the strongest of mages and wizards from all across the land. He was one of the members. He was one of the Keepers of Balance. And unfortunately, when exploring the possibilities of the Arcane Conduit, we encountered difficulties in aligning the ley lines. What happened was there was a minor explosion which triggered other minor explosions in the region, causing damage to much of the nearby towns and villages.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it did cause the death of some of the villages, people and townspeople.
Understood, and that's why all the properties were bought, so that it was like a compensation sort of.
Absolutely.
That makes sense. That's quite generous of him. And when you say explosions, do you mean explosions of magic, which were like various effects town by town, or were they all the same? Like, for example, I know nothing of magic, but like, was one completely engulfed in darkness and no one could see for a little while?
I don't know about darkness. It was more an arcane
No, you
force
sure?
explosion that would collapse buildings nearby, trapping many underneath. It was very
Oh my god.
catastrophic. But
From your first description, it sounded like only a couple of lives were lost, but a pulse of buildings collapsing. Well, that sounds like quite a few lives. I can see why so many pieces of land and property were purchased. Your father must have had. Oh, go ahead, Kalara. Go ahead. Let me eat this chicken drumstick.
I'm sorry, you can carry on if you had more questions. I just had one. Oh, Lord Thel'varis, do you have a brother?
No, I'm an only child, actually.
Okay.
Some say I was supposed to have a twin, but they didn't make it quite out the womb, unfortunately. However, please enjoy your food. And what is it everyone else is doing? Where are your companions? And I will jump now to, whilst this is all happening, what is everyone else doing? So we have Sienna. Have you entered the room as well with the others, or are you still in the other room before the dinner?
No, I will have entered. I just
Okay.
forgot to move my token.
Okay, cool. So we'll say that the door is sort of closed behind. Gamma will come to you as all the doors were closed behind by Kalara, and Kalara, you used thaumaturgy to give the impression that the front door had been closed as well. Gamma, as you step out into the hallway, you see the door on your right close.
Yeah.
The door behind you is closed as well by Kalara, who stepped through as you stepped out. What are you doing?
I'm going to this first door right here. And I'm gonna first see if there's anything up with the door, because obviously, I mean, this is a very, I mean, I want to make sure there's no traps, nothing that could potentially hurt me before I open this door. And yeah, so.
You're sort of investigating
I guess
it.
Yeah, I'm gonna investigate the door.
Okay, with a natural, well, no, it's not a natural one. It's a 2. With a 2, you just see before you a sort of stone door.
Doesn't look bad, right? I'm gonna try to just open it. We're gonna open the door.
As you reach to touch the door, you feel a sort of energy coming from it. As you try and open the door, you put your hand on it and try and open it. It's locked.
It's locked. Okay. Well, this is a very interesting port indeed. As we were coming up to the tower, did I see any windows, like from the upper floors? Did I see there's possibly any way I could
on the
get
upper
up to
floors? No.
No. That's interesting. Okay, the door is locked. I'm not a magical guy. That kind of just ruins everything. I will ask, may I please enter? I saw that work earlier.
So you talk to the door.
Yeah, I say, can I please?
You hear the door almost like it sounds like something's happening with the lock. It sort of rattles slightly, but nothing happens.
Nothing happens. Okay. Okay. I don't know what other else I could do at this point with the door. Trying to think about. Let me look through my notes. Do I get an impression that this door is locked by like magical reasons? Like, is it?
With a 2, you don't know. You just know it's locked.
Okay.
You did feel an energy coming from it.
Okay. So it might be a riddle. Okay, I'm gonna go check the other door because I don't know how to open the other door. Does this door open?
You just reach to try and open it?
Yeah.
It opens. As you now open a door to... Hold on, I just need to click on the... Thank you. It is now open as you step...
Okay.
As you step in, you see... Actually, can I have you roll a perception check just to see exactly what you see?
Pretty decent at these. This my sheet's not wanting to open. Okay. Perception.
As you step in with a 19, as you step in, you see before you the carpet continues into this room. The same floor pattern continues. On the left appears 3 bookshelves with lots of books, and there's occasionally like some ornaments or potions and things on the shelf, but it looks mostly like your average bookcase. And there's 3 of those in there. On the right, you can see what appears to be a desk with some papers and a book in the middle, with some sort of inks and pots on the top side. You have a little plant pot next to that. The rest of the room, in the center, you've got a table with what appears to be a wheel of cheese on a plate, which has actually got a knife that's cutting into it. It's almost floating as it's cutting into it looks as though the knife is cutting into the cheese by its own accord. You notice that there's another side table by the window, which has what looks like a coin purse and a few coins next to it, some candles, and some seats to sit by it. And in the corner of the room on the other side, there is what appears to be a grand piano with a little red chair. And next to that is another door.
Okay, I'm gonna try the books first. I'm gonna try to see if there's any information about maybe how to open a door in here or something. So I'm gonna start just simming through a book, the book that's on that table, and see if there's any information I can.
You're going to start with the book on the table.
Yeah.
As you look at the book on the table, it clearly is it's written in some language you can't comprehend, but it looks as though there are images and things, drawing sketches. It looks as though there are some runes and spells, and you can see that at the top, in common language that you understand, it just says something along the lines of arcane arts, which is basically, you believe, looking at this as it's sort of floating above you, this is something like a magical book. It obviously could be a book that's teaching magical spells. It could be something to do with the mystic arts. And you can see that next to the book is a scroll wrapped with a ribbon with a sort of seal on it.
I'm gonna open it.
You're gonna open the seal of the scroll.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am trying to look for any information.
Okay, as you open the seal, so you pick up the scroll, you open the seal, and you look inside. You see a piece of paper that says, to whom it concerns, many thanks for your help and your services in restoring the arcane arcanum in Sylvanthal. And at the bottom it says Moonspire Archives.
Okay. I'm going to hide that in his desk, so it might take him longer to find.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm gonna hide it. So I'm gonna put it behind. I'm gonna put it behind one of his shelves behind me. I'm gonna hide it behind there, so that way it might take him longer to find it, and that way he doesn't suspect I did something.
So you try and put it on the shelf?
No, I put it behind it.
Okay, so you put it behind
or under it. Yeah.
You just try and hide it. I'll say that you succeed in doing so. Anything else that you do at this time? I will say that you've been gone now for a good few minutes.
I'm going to start heading back, and as I do, I'm just gonna go up to the door one more time.
Mm-hmm. Do you close? Do you just leave the door?
Yeah, I close the door.
Okay.
I know I close it. Mm-hmm. I close that door I just came out of. I'm gonna walk up to this door, and I'm gonna say, I am very chipper today. I don't know. Obviously, I'm pretty pissed because I'm here, so I'm going to say I'm very chipper today.
As you say that, the door just sort of is a door. It doesn't do anything. You've just gone and spoken to the door. Nothing happens.
I'll try to open it again.
As you try and open it, you notice that it's still locked.
Okay, well, I'm going back.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, as you head back through the doors, you find yourself returning to the group. The rest of you've had this conversation, and as he returns through the doorway, I'll just let you move yourself up there. As you return through the doorway to the dining room, you see that... Are you able to do so?
No, it's not let me move my... Oh, there it is. Holy,
I unlocked the door for him. The door was locked.
Oh, is it stuck? Is it stuck on a door?
Okay. As you get back to the dining room, you step in and he said, I did say the bathroom was outside, but I hope you enjoyed my office. It's not in there. But please come join us for some stew.
Gamma, what did you do?
I did nothing of this. I did nothing too bad. I will go. I'll stand next to Alfonso.
Kalara giggles.
Across my arms.
Okay.
Drakenthal just grabs the turkey in the middle of the room, puts it on his plate, and starts munching. And like until then, he had avoided eating the food because of the curse remark earlier. But now he's like, okay, it's gone to shit anyway. So
Sorry, I do have to just point out just for 2 seconds before we go any further. Gamma, have you just been trespassing on this man's property?
There's no sound proof of that. He's only claiming it.
I did say you were welcome to my home, in fairness.
So
Though
you
I
don't wish
appreciate
to make
that.
a formal complaint?
No, of course, no, you are my guest,
I
please.
You see the book.
Daggers
The book was
into
coming
Flanagan.
out. The book was coming out, and then he puts it back under the table when he doesn't want to make a
Can I ask
complaint.
one question though?
Yes.
Why you don't want us to go upstairs directly? What is up there that you're trying to keep away
your
from
pardon?
us?
This is this man's house.
Those...
What do you mean?
And?
Why don't you want him to go upstairs?
It's
None
It's
of our
odd.
business, is it?
Came into my house, I'd say no. You
I
can
like to
bugger
think-
off.
Maybe he just didn't
Karut.
clean his washing. That really doesn't matter.
Might just be his personal things that he doesn't want you
Or
seeing.
the fact
which I
that
think
he
is
lives
entirely
here.
viable. Yeah, it's entirely viable for someone to not. Do you have a house?
who? Me?
Yeah.
Not
she
anymore.
was- okay, maybe that's part of the
Well,
misunderstanding here.
To be
Actually, we
completely
don't really
honest,
have a house.
just to let you know, and they're all valid reasons. However, I must say it was a little bit off-putting to be asked directly, but seeing as you did ask, I will say that much of the magical artifacts which I've used and my father before him had used are upstairs, and we've got it safeguarded for when we may need it again, or if, for example, one of the lords of the other areas, or perhaps even Sylvanthal themselves, do request my aid, I can use some of the scrolls and the items up there.
All right, enough.
just-
And Karut slams her knife into the table. Enough pitter-pattering around the point. Shush. I've had to listen to all of you patter around the point. You either know why we're here, or you don't. If you don't know, you're as useless as you look, okay?
Karuf, are you
You
going
don't seem to know why you're here. You can have it. I haven't
Okay.
even touched the food.
Well, I mean,
We came
admittedly,
here
Karif-
seeking insight. No, we came here seeking insight. This man claims to be a man of power and knowledge, yet I have seen none.
We haven't
Something
actually
with
told
horns
him anything.
walked out the... Exactly. So let me get to the point. Something with horns walked out of one of your villages last night, and you have no idea. For some reason, I do not know. But if you cannot help us, then at least let us investigate your tower, because you are of no use.
I believe you just mentioned something with horns stepped out of one of my towns. These are not my towns. I am a lord of this area, but they're
So
not
you didn't
my
inherit your
towns.
father's land? It is just
It was
anyone's?
never our land to begin with. We merely replaced the homes of which we destroyed. Now, you see, one of the most interesting things since you guys came in is that you're not mentioning something to me.
asked to come here. We assumed you would know why. Clearly, you don't. This is why I'm helping you along.
Well, I assume it has something to do with that sparkly necklace as he looks at Sienna directly.
What's wrong with my sparkly necklace?
I've not seen power like that for quite some time.
Well, I mean, I just told you about all my exploits in the world. Naturally,
Ruth?
I have many grand artifacts given to me as gift from patrons.
I suppose.
Ruth, you might as well tell him everything now. I mean,
Well, let's just
look,
be
we
clear,
have a
like,
book.
I
A book brought all of us here with these different pages, and it told us to bring the book to a certain person with some initials inside of it, okay?
The book.
Obviously,
May I
look
see this
to
book?
Drakenthal.
well, as I was trying to say, yeah. And he just slams the book on the table.
You see, you
Do you
slam it
happen
on
to
the
know
table.
what this? Do you know what this is? Because it kind of got us all here.
Oh my! I see. He extends his hand, and you can see the book lifts and floats across the table
No,
towards him.
it doesn't.
Yeah,
She would slam it
my
down.
my claws actually still
Yeah.
on it.
Oh, your claws are on it?
Yeah, like I slammed it, like I didn't lift.
Well, it's hard to tell exactly what it is, but it is magical
Well,
of some nature.
it mentions your initials, and it kind of magically summoned us all here, restored itself, and started writing messages.
Wait.
Although the initials could obviously also belong to your father.
True, and the book didn't actually bring us here. It was just a couple of pages of the book that once we touched, got transported with us. They had little squiggly lines on them. They were quite cool, really.
Oh, I see. I see. Gamma, can I quickly ask, what is it you're doing at this time?
Well, my arms are crossed, but I'm watching him. If he makes any crazy move, like I'm pretty much just being perceptive. Like I'm watching the behind us, like the door. I'm watching the other doors. Like I'm just making sure, like nothing could go wrong in this room, or no one could surprise attack us or anything. So if there's anything that even goes off that I can notice, Gamma's gonna go into action.
Okay. So whilst you're all sitting at the table and you're discussing this, you're eating away. It's at this moment when you begin to feel, those of you who are holding onto the book and who are holding onto the necklace, you feel a slight gust of wind in the room. Those of you who've been eating the food. As you then see the plates begin to lift themselves up, as if to take them elsewhere into the corner where they seem to disappear. The food itself, much of the food seems to be disappearing from your plates. I believe, unless you guys actually have anything to say to me without insulting me, I cannot be of any service. I've done nothing but invite you in and give you food. I've offered my support. You won't even let me look at the book. What is it you want?
I wanted to know if you know the book first.
Let me
before we
see it
hand
first. I cannot tell if you're not going to allow me to hold it.
So you've never seen this book?
Can I just ask Drakenthal, before I know that you clearly want an answer from him before you give it to him, but why are you holding on to it? It don't belong to you. Just give him it.
What? Because someone is carrying it. Sure, I can
let
give
him.
it to him
It's
if you
it's
feel
obviously
like it.
to his father. I mean, we might as well let him hold the book, and maybe we can get some information.
He looks.
So now you trust him after sneaking around his house.
We have no reason to distrust this man. We've come to him for answers.
He looks, as you say this, he looks to Caruth. Caruth, what are you doing in this moment?
She's scowling. He was staring at her. She's scowling back at him anyway. But let him have the book. We can't be surprised that if your initials are in it, we aren't suspicious.
By all means.
Why are we suspicious of him?
Because we have no clue why we're here. And I push over the book.
Perfect. As you push
Have a
over,
look then and puzzle us. Why
you-
are we here?
as you pass over the book, his hand touches it, and you can see there's a slight bit of energy. It's almost like a purple flicker from his hand to the book. Oh my. Ah! Yes, I can see this is my father's doing, as he pulls it open and sees in the page, "Find it, bring it to me. -T.W. That's my father's handwriting. I suppose... my question is where you found this, but... What I know of the book that you've brought to me today is that this is an artifact, much like those we keep upstairs, which is a relic of a time long past, which retains the memories of those who wield them, use them. You say you restored the pages.
Well,
We
yes,
each had a
after the
page.
pages found us, but if
Well, I
this
would
is an
argue I
artifact,
found the page. But okay.
well, we can argue about that. But if this is like an artifact that belongs in this tower, then why would this book seem to be found in a museum?
Well, it's quite possible that if it was not in its full restored state, this book still gives off energies and is from a time long past. It could be that those who found it sought better to put it in a museum. The gem on the front, as he flips it closed, this gemstone on the front, as he sort of points at the gemstone, this is a stone I haven't seen for quite some time. It's one which seems to absorb...
the gemstone.
Pardon? Sorry, what was that?
As he points to the gemstone, do I recognize it?
You've had it for some time. You've not looked at it. It's a purple gemstone of sorts. It doesn't look
not
like
really.
anything you recognize. This gemstone here, it's hard to describe exactly what it is. Some say that these are stones created to try and replicate other stones which give off tremendous power, as he looks at Sienna. I'm surprised this is the company you choose to keep, but a lady such as yourself, it does suit you. What is it that it told you to find? I presume that's what brought you to Whisperwind Tower. Did you come empty-handed?
First of all, I would just like to say Karoof can't help the way she is, okay? She's just a little different from the rest of us. However, we've came here for the simple fact that this book sent us here. We found those pages, I found mine floating in the air, and we did all the things. We've now come here because we need to know why was we brought here? Why have we been given this book? And what are we meant to find? Because, to be quite frank, I've had enough of this crap. Right? We found a necklace in a forest by an altar. We killed a few elemental things because we were told to do it or not to do it. And in doing so, some black mist went in the city and a big orange devil come out and had potentially kidnapped a halfling fellow by the name of Earl or something like that. He's a tavern keeper. You know, the poor guy, who knows where he is, and I'm just trying to find him and do my due diligence as a coalition member. Now, if we could all just sit down... By the way, this garlic bread is fantastic, but I just need to know, why the hell am I here? Because I was going elsewhere.
I see.
Sugar rush.
So you found that amulet of yours. It hums with power, doesn't it?
It does.
Ancient. Stubborn. Much like myself. Oh, well, from what I do know, that would be the Amulet of the Stars. Just a harmless little relic. It's decorative, sentimental, not nearly as dangerous as, say, leaving it out in the rain.
So do you know what it does?
Insight check?
You can do an insight check. Anybody who wants to roll insight can roll an insight check on that.
Yeah.
High five.
I cannot roll well in this campaign.
8, 20, 4. So we have a 9, a 14, an 8, and a 20. I would say Gamma with a 20. We'll come to you in just a second. The rest of you.
I also got a 21.
Oh, we have a 21 from Sienna earlier and a 5 from Dragonthal. Sorry, the breakup of the different sheets threw me off. Yes, so with a 21 and a 20, you two will come to in just a second. The rest of you, everything that he said seemingly makes sense. You know, he seems to come across quite genuine. The Amulet of the Stars, he's telling the truth. Whether it's just a little harmless little relic, you're not entirely sure. Decorative, sentimental, and not nearly as dangerous as they say, leaving it out in the rain. You're not really sure what he's getting at. The rest of you, which is Lady Sienna and Gamma, the two of you clock that as he says this, there's a slight hesitation in his voice as he says, not nearly as dangerous as, say, leaving it out in the rain. There's some hesitation there. That might not quite be true. Maybe this is more powerful than he's letting on.
Well, if this is as... I call it the Amulet of the Stars, you said. Well, who better to wield it than me? It's clearly more dangerous than you let on.
Oh, that is so... right. Well, I suppose it's about time. Master Owlin, Gamma, was it? You sure you don't want something to eat?
No.
All right then. As he clicks his fingers, you suddenly feel the gust of wind shoot through the room. He stands up, and the rest of you feel paralyzed. A sense of the room slowing around you. Your limbs feel sluggish. The warmth of the earth around you vanishes, replaced by what can only be described as a deep cold in your spine. Before you can move, Gamma.
Oh.
Can I interject and just, it's totally fine if you want to say that this happened. Clara did not eat. I just want to say.
That's fine. Those who didn't eat, it doesn't impact at all. Those of you who did, you feel incredibly sluggish.
I'm double sluggish. I ate Carouse.
Those of you, this includes Alfonso, your limbs feel heavy and sluggish. The rest of you who didn't eat, you are also trapped in what I can only describe as a moment of stillness. As around you, everyone feels as if they've been kept in place, frozen. It's at this moment, Sienna, you feel the amulet move past your head, and you notice that this time you felt a hand around the necklace as his mage hand pulls off the necklace.
Wait, so all of us are frozen?
All of you are frozen.
Can
all
we
of
talk?
you are frozen. You cannot speak, you cannot move. You are all in a moment of stillness as he grabs the necklace and begins to disappear out the door, closing it behind him. About a minute passes. And I will say that we will come back after the break. We're back. Now, after the break, just before the break, rather, you guys were sitting down at the table. Gamma, aside from you and Alfonso, everyone else was sitting down at the table. And you felt a gust of wind come across you. Nobody wanted to do anything with that. You saw the plates all get picked up and taken away, but you didn't actually incite any of that. You just accepted that this is magic, this is what happens. Whilst that was happening, you then felt, as you felt this paralysis sort of moment of stillness that you felt, the gust of wind suddenly came to a halt, as if the magic itself stopped. Just before the break, the mage hand of Thel'varis obviously took off the amulet as he scurried down towards the door. The rest of you frozen in time as a minute or so passes. And I would say that the doors have closed behind you. You've seen the doors close behind him, rather. As you guys then begin to feel a sense of uneasiness around you. The food that you were eating begins to give off a scent. As you're standing there frozen, it begins to give off a scent of this sort of sweet yet vile smell. It's strong and rancid in scent. As you begin to feel around you the warmth of the area disappear, your skin begins to sort of freeze up as a cold breeze washes through you. Suddenly, you are all faced with a nasty reality. Before you, the room itself returns to its original state. You see that the once beautiful carpet you were treading on is marked. It's torn. It's dirtied. The carpets are all ripped apart. You see that there's stains on the wall. You see that the food in front of you is rotting. You feel the seat underneath you is uncomfortable. Where pillows should be, there isn't any. You feel the coldness of the chair arms itself as you then begin to feel your senses returning to your fingers as you all sort of leap forward suddenly back to where you were. You're no longer frozen.
Oh my. How long have we been sat here?
Told you he was suspicious.
The first thing that happens after Bramble reawakens is that he vomits his entirety of his insides just in front of Gemma's feet.
Should we go to the crypt?
Yes.
The crypt.
Why did it come out like that?
Well,
and Kalara will start making her way towards this door. She'll check to see if it's unlocked.
It is unlocked. There doesn't appear to be a lock on it.
Okay, she opens the door.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I need to do this whilst also keeping everyone in the camera frame, so bear with me, I can't move with that.
So as you open the door, you see that where there was once fruit, there's nothing. It's just empty bowls, which are cracked and dirty. You see that the sofa chair on the side has patches of mold and grease on it. It looks really rancid. And in the corner, that where there was once light, there's now just what appears to be broken metal and what looks like blood on it. Dried blood.
Can I do like an Arcana check to see if that sort of magical energy that was here earlier, if that's still here?
Yeah.
If it's
You can.
13. That's
With a
more.
13, I will say, I would say that you would probably have advantage on this because you're actively just felt the magic disappear. But with a 13, you feel there's less magical energy than there was previously. A lot less. However, there's still a faint eminence coming from the ground beneath you. What you really do feel is the center, so the wall to your left as you're looking at the door, the center of the tower appears to be flooded with magic.
Well, then that's where I'm headed.
What are the rest of you doing?
Sorry, what
Just
was
heading
flooded with
into
magic
the
now?
hallway.
Sienna feels the magic coming from essentially the center of the tower.
Oh, okay.
I follow Sienna.
Does Sienna say anything, or?
Nope.
Okay, then I will keep going toward the crypt.
Cool.
Okay.
So do you try and leave out the front door?
Yes.
Yeah, as you come to the front door, it's just a big archway. It's open. You can leave if you want to. The door is open, like you can open it. It doesn't appear to be any resistance.
Okay. I got the front. Where are you guys going?
Into the tower? Where are you
I
going?
thought you said crypt.
The crypt is in the tower.
No, the crypt was out. It was on the way here. The family crypt. It was. They said it was.
No, that's
we would
the
have passed
outhouse.
it. Would have been. No, there was the. Sorry, Paddy, didn't you also say that we would have passed the crypt on the way here?
Given we had a break, I will remind you that there was a crypt that doesn't appear to have had anybody walk into it. It's surrounded by trees and bushes and things. It looks like it'd be hard to get into, to be honest.
Okay, because that's where he said his dad was buried, right?
He did mention that his family were buried there, yeah.
Okay, that's what I was getting at.
There's a strong magical energy coming from inside. I say we should
Okay,
check
well,
that out first.
that makes more sense. Thanks for telling us.
As you step towards the door itself, you feel the energy coming from the center of the building, but you also feel that on the door itself there's some sort of energy to it, magical energy. Seeing as you were sort of trying to feel the energies around you, I'll allow that sort of magical essence, but I'll say that's where your perception check stops. Or
Is
your
it
Arcana
locked?
check.
Door?
The door appears to be locked, yes.
7 locks, 7 lies. Anyone have a clue?
Or it is another door that needs to be begged.
Please, door, can you open for us?
You notice that nothing really happens. It sort of just stays completely still.
Yeah, worth a try.
Yeah.
Flanagan, can you tell which way he went?
Sure. Can I try and track?
You can definitely do a track. You can... I'll allow a survival check here.
Let me give it a go. My PC's on the go slow at the minute, though, so I do apologise. Let's do that.
With a 13, you can see from where you're standing by the front door, there don't appear to be any footprints going out. There's only footprints coming in. And you can see that there are some, maybe it's your party, could be others, leading towards the center door where Sienna is now stood. That's what you see.
I would say he went up or down.
Well, I keep hearing this seven doors, 7 lies situation. If the first door opened when we begged it to, maybe each of us should tell a lie?
Well, I would have you know that this food was truly delicious.
My son's name is not Aldrin.
Nothing happens.
My lie would be that
wooden door.
Go ahead.
Hear my plea. Open before I carve my way through your remains.
Nothing happens, but you do see that there's a lock.
My father was a
Lock.
farmer. I feel ridiculous saying this.
Nothing happens.
Gamma, there's a lock.
We want me to do about the lock.
I don't know.
I'll go up with my sword and I'm gonna try to break it, like smash the lock off.
Okay, can I have a strength check from you, please?
Yeah.
If that don't work, Alfonso, you're up.
Jeez.
Can I help him at all, or oh, never mind.
With a 12, you feel the blade hits the lock, but it doesn't break.
Yeah.
Everyone move!
I'm pressing myself as best I can to the wall.
Same.
Arch!
As Alfonso...
It's gonna full force run at the door.
Sure. So I'll ask for a strength check at advantage. A 15. You see Alfonso hit the door. It buckles slightly, and then it doesn't open as he steps back and looks a little bit like weary from trying to do this. But you do feel like this may work.
I'll kick the door.
You kick the door. Bramble steps up and kicks the door. I will say that it's now had a beating, so with advantage, you kick the door. With a
Even
10, you feel like, again, you're doing some damage to it, but you haven't quite broken through.
Karuth, if you don't mind, I feel like you're the.
I guess
you're the
Drakenthal
strong-
will also charge at it from the back.
I'll say that with Drakenthal charging at it and Karuth pulling her blade, the two of you, if you could both roll a strength check for me, please.
For Zakara.
With a 19,
Oh, it's a save.
Karuth
It's a
slices
save,
off
but-
the lock. It's the same roll, so you slice off the lock, and Drakenthal, you charge at the door as you go straight through it, and you hit in the center a sort of stone pillar that goes the whole way up, and you can see that around this pillar there appears to be a stone staircase going upwards. But yeah, you've successfully broken through the door, and you feel like there's been sort of magic pass you as it sort of fades. This sort of purple energy comes off the door as you break in. What do you guys do?
Karut's gonna start casting her mage hand, which is invisible, as we start going through this. Just repeatedly, it's gonna follow us along.
Okay, so you've got the mage hand behind you. And is that a concentration spell?
It's with us. It's repetitive, like every 6 seconds.
Okay, I'll say that you've got it just following behind you as well. Yep.
Yeah, it's not concentration.
The rest of you, what are you doing?
Go up.
Do you want to head
Go up.
Let's head
Yeah.
inside.
Mhm.
Looking up, does it look like if I were to fly just straight up, could I get
You
it to where
can't.
I'm?
There's a stone
I
pillar in
can't?
the center. It's a stone staircase where you'd have to go the whole way around.
Okay.
Mhm.
They are like. Yeah, I'll start running up.
Cool. So I would say that all of you lead up, and as you do, you come to the next level of the Sorcerer's Tower, where there's another door in front of you.
Where everything is dark.
And everything is dark, yes, because I have dynamic lighting turned on. So you guys will have to bear with me 1 second whilst
I can
I
see.
turn that off.
You can see?
I see a staircase.
Okay.
I see a
There we
staircase.
go.
Oh yeah, now I see everything.
There we go. Now everybody should be able to
There
see
we are.
everything. Cool. As you guys reach to the top of the stairs, you notice that there's a door in front of you. This one appears to be a wooden door.
We break it.
Yeah, I just
Can we
walk up
open
and
the
try to
door?
open it.
You try
Yeah.
to open it, it opens.
Oh. Okay.
As you
We
step
go through.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
As
you go through, you notice there's a purple tattered carpet in front of you. There appears to be sort of almost like little dragon heads coming out of the sides of the walls. These look like they would hold candles, and you can see that there's some melted candles in some of them. Most of them are tarnished. It obviously looks worn. But yeah, that's what you guys see.
I cast detect magic.
Yeah, you can cast detect magic.
Well-
Can I see that spell, please? Yes, thank you.
Yes, I threw it up for you.
Thank you. You sense a presence of magic within 30 feet of you. If you sense magic in this way, you can use your action to see a faint aura around any visible creature or object in that area that bears magic. Okay, perfect. So basically, from where you're standing, you feel magic coming from just the other side of the wall north of you, so to your right, as you're coming down the hallway. You can also feel a strong sense of magic coming from directly below you on the other side.
And that's where I'll go to where the I'll try to open the door that leads to the strongest.
Mhm.
Yeah, magical feel.
It's a locked door, and you can feel with this magic that there's some magic lock on this as well.
Magic lock was on this. Anyway,
We break this one.
And the other one.
I don't think.
Please,
I don't know.
please, will you open?
Nothing happens.
Let's try.
I have no way to open this door. So I'll
I
check
ju-
the
I
other
ju-
one.
Try open the other one.
I don't think that.
As you guys open the other one, Bramble, as you're at the front, you open the door with ease. It opens, and before you lies some skeleton remains. I don't know if you can click the door because I can't actually open it. There you go. As you open the door, it swings open, and you see on the ground before you some skeletal remains with what looks to be marks of blood. In the center of the room is a large stone circle with what can only be described as sort of odd-looking runes filled with blood. This blood is fresh, and in the center of the circle lies an old halfling, face down.
Would I recognize
guy is a
either the
devil.
halfling or the markings?
You know what? I will say that is everybody following you in, or are you guys following him in? Anybody who stepped into the room, if you could do for me a perception check if you want to see what you see and if you recognize the individual, and in a history check if you want to check if you know what these markings are.
I rolled both. Sorry.
That's
Because I
good.
want to know both.
That's good. That's some very high rolls so far. Okay, I will tell you that with a 19, Sienna, you immediately recognize this is Arlen, the barkeep from the Wallowed Shrine. He appears to be face down with his throat slit. He's been killed fresh, and what he seems to be on with a 21, you notice this is some form of necromantic ritual that's been taking place here. This is clearly dark magic. The rest of you would notice the same. I think Bramble, you wouldn't know necessarily what these are relating to, these symbols, but what you do recognize is that this is very unlike anything you've ever seen in your more natural element. It looks and feels very off.
We have a necromancer on our hands. How lovely.
What do you guys do?
Well, what does the coalition think of this?
What do I think of what? Sorry, I heard the word necromancer, but I don't want to leave Alfonso out here, you see, because it's quite grim, isn't it?
As you see before you, Arlen the barkeep face down in his what can only be described as his own blood flowing onto this ritual tablet.
Oh shit, well that's not good, is it? Well, that'll explain where he went. Now, how the fuck did he get here?
At being told that it's at being told it's a necromancer, Kalara's going to cast Detect Evil and Good.
Can you throw that up in the chat for me?
Yeah, of course.
Ooh, it's a necromancer. Don't worry, I've got just a thing for one of them fuckers.
Perfect. So yes, you are using is it concentration?
It is a concentration spell, yes.
Okay, you feel... So basically, Detect Evil and Good is, for the duration, you sense the location of any aberration, celestial, elemental, fey, fiend, or undead within 30 feet of yourself. You also sense whether the Hallow spell is active there, and if so, where. The spell is blocked by 1 foot of stone, dirt or wood, 1 inch, or metal, or 1 thin sheet of lead. You don't feel any of those things in this room.
Yeah.
But you have it up. How long does it last? Is it just concentration until dropped?
It is...
Doesn't specify.
It doesn't specify it in that one. The new ones don't. I think it's an hour off the top of my head.
Cool.
It might be 10 minutes.
Sounds good.
But I will double check.
Let's do that. What are you guys doing?
Okay, right. We need to formulate a plan. We need to find this fucker. We need to stop him doing whatever he's doing. I suggest we kick that fucking door down in the next room and we go all guns blazing.
North
I say that's fair.
which room?
I say we
that's
assault
yes.
this next room like the CFC. Let's go.
I take it very literally and I kick down the door.
As you attempt to kick it, it opens because there's no lock on it. It opens completely.
Good job, Bramble. Let's go.
I take the loot and...
As you step through, you see before you an altar that looks eerily similar to the one that you saw in the forest. The difference here being there's nothing on it besides a small book. The book looks old and worn. It looks as though it hasn't been touched or used in some time. And at the back of the room is a large demonic-sized skull. It's more of an ornament. There doesn't appear to be anything to it. It's clearly some form of worship has been happening from this altar.
Does my detect magic ping anything?
You ping that the book has, I would say, a very faint magic coming from it. but nothing else.
It's open on the altar.
The book is open, yeah. It looks very old and worn.
Does it say anything?
As you look at the book, being the one closest, you can see this is clearly Necromancy 101. It is everything you need to know to become a necromancer, written in pages. Some of the ink is written in blood.
That's gross, and I just move on.
Mm-hmm. Anything else? Anyone else want to do anything as in this room?
I pull out a clear cellophane bag, getting ready to collect the evidence.
As we see the scene, I will actually sheath my sword and put my shield on the back and draw my greatsword.
Okay.
Because this seems to need bigger work.
Yep. So you pull out your greatsword.
From where I'm standing, do I feel anything undead or any of that variety now?
No.
Okay.
I would say you feel a faint essence coming from down to your right, so south of you.
Okay, I'll back up one, and just before we open that door, I'm gonna have a spell ready to cast, and it is that spell.
Okay.
Cool.
Good idea. Don't worry, I'll go first for the CFC, and I just start charging at the door.
This door here.
Yeah, the door that Kalara stood in front of.
Yep. And as you
I'll
charge at it, can I have a strength check, please?
Sure. My boot up.
Mm-hmm.
Tactical operation. Strength or athletics?
Strength.
That's a shame.
With a 12, you kick at the door, and it sort of pushes you back. You're not expecting it to do so. Your own force knocks you back. You actually fall back and have to sort of steady yourself. As you hear what can only be described as a sort of like a sort of powerful magical spell happening on the other side. As all of a sudden you feel this sort of, it almost sounds like something's been sucked, like out of existence.
No.
So while they're all occupied with that, Gamma's gonna pull out one of the books that he stole from that grave just the last day, and I'm gonna try to sleight of hand swap it with the book that's on the. So
you're trying to prevent anybody else noticing, or are you trying to prevent?
I'm trying to very like slight, just try to swap the books.
Okay.
And I'm gonna.
I will allow it at advantage because most, if not everybody else, apart from Alfonso, maybe at the back, is focused on the door. So I will allow it advantage. So you roll a 12.
Next to him, but
I would say that you're also watching Gamma run. You're watching Flanagan bounce off a door. So I'm going to allow advantage here. So a 12 was your first roll, but with advantage a 19, you successfully collect the book.
Okay.
And you've replaced it with basically what are handwritten notes to loved ones from the graves. Yeah.
I just stashed the book away.
Does anyone have passive perception of 20 or 19?
I do.
The only person who would is Flanagan, but Flanagan is currently on the floor or steadying himself after bouncing off the door. So I'm gonna say he doesn't notice.
Drakenthal will step over Flanagan, kind of reach down with his hand and help him up, and ask the door, "Will you please open, friend?"
Nothing
and if it
happens.
doesn't, he will slash it with a greatsword.
Okay. It doesn't do anything, so you slash away with a strength check from you, please. With a 20, the door splits in two as it sort of falls and cracks open. You also feel as the blade slices through, there's a sort of purple energy that comes off it, almost like you've hit a small explosive that knocks the door back as it then opens for you. Before you see, as you look through the room, You see skeletal remains continue to be all over the floor. There's blood stains around the place, and right at the center of the room, there is a purple archway with purple energy swirling in it. It looks similar to a sort of rift or portal for those of you who've seen it before or have heard of such things.
I take it my detect magic is pinging off the charts right now?
Yes, absolutely. This is exactly what you felt as you stepped through. You're just now coming into range with it, and you can feel it. This is a very powerful thing that you're coming towards.
Might want to be careful around that.
I imagine
Drakenthal will just charge in with great sword in hand and just... Let's get at it! It's clearly through there.
Do I feel the... Did I feel that kind of faint feeling of the undead disappear?
Yes. You did.
It's through there. I think it must have gone through there.
Well, then let's follow.
As you guys are standing
Let's
in
get
here,
that necklace back.
as you're heading towards this portal, you hear outside what sounds like thunder. As you hear sort of rumbling coming from above. And you step through?
Yeah.
Everyone's behind me. Drakenthal will step through, yeah.
Perfect. As you step through, let me just grab you as you are. As you guys step through, we then arrive. There you go. As you guys arrive, you see before you some ghouls, some skeletons clad in armor, and right in the center of a giant stone circle is what looks to be a very large skeleton of a minotaur with battle axe in hand. Behind the minotaur in the background, you can see with a necklace clutched in his hand is Thel'varis, but not the way you saw him previously. This time he looks gaunt. He looks withered. He looks old. He looks frail. And I will ask you all to roll for me initiative, as you guys have just stumbled upon.
Can we change order of how?
Yeah, I was gonna say, where does because obviously the portal.
You can.
We
I would
through...
say that however you guys came through, you probably would have landed. So if you guys want to put yourself as you would have done at the front, the portal would have been behind you. So whoever went in first would be at the top.
Cool. I'd probably be nearer the back then, because I went in towards the end.
And I will ask you all to roll initiative. If you haven't already, please do so.
8.
As you arrive at the top of the Sorcerer's Towers, the elements around you exposed, you feel the wind, you feel the rain around you begin to fall and pitter-patter on the floor next to you. You see before you ghouls with their bodies risen into bones and flesh. They have eyes, but they don't have any soul behind what you look into. They have teeth that appear to be outside of their face as they have their mouth closed. You've got skeletons on either side, clad in armor with swords in their hands and shields. You see in the center a hulking minotaur with purple eyes that seem to glow like flames and hair still attached to its carcass body. In the back you see Thel'varis, now gaunt and frail. And I say to you, after rolling initiative, you hear Thel'varis reach out to you and say, "Aha! You made it! I was beginning to think I'd overestimated you. Silly me. You look disappointed. What, did you think the pretty elf at the dinner table and the candles was real? Darling, this is me. I just hide it so well. A shame about the barkeep. He was terribly noisy and so sweet with his little binder. I almost regret using him to grease the ritual circle. Come, Brock, show them the price of ignorance." As you hear the bones echo and crack as the skeletal minotaur roars to life in front of you. And it is there where I will say that we call tonight's session. So if you haven't rolled initiative, please do so, and we will begin the combat in the next episode.
Can we swap our initiatives quick? Because I know a few of people.
Sure, let's do that. Let's do that quickly. Let's do that quickly now. If you guys want to roll your initiatives, I'll bring up the turn order as well. Hold on. There you go. Cool. So we have the turn order. If you guys want to swap
would like
initiatives for those who can, please do so.
Yeah, I would like to swap my initiative with Lan's character. So the
Yes,
8
And
from
I'll-
14.
And I'll swap mine with Kalara, so Kalara can go quicker.
Okay. So that is Dracanthal's 8. Sienna, are you okay to swap with...
Yes.
Yes. And the reason you're able to do this, remind me? The reason
The
you're-
alert.
The
alert origin
guard,
feat.
I believe.
Okay, because you've got the guard origin from 2024, you get the alert feat, which allows you to swap the initiative when initiative is
Yeah.
rolled. So that is
Yes,
why
we
you are
both have
both
it.
able to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to clarify for anybody who is questioning such things. We have an 8, and then it was Kalara with a 7, now has a 13, and we have Flanagan with a 7. And I will
Yes.
roll initiative for the others as well. Let me roll initiative quickly.
I'm sure, Rez, you would prefer to go quicker, right? Oh, you muted, but I'd assume that's a yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll swap then.
I mean, he has
I
to
have an
agree.
I have an interesting first turn. I think you've clocked it as well. I think you clocked it earlier this session.
I also have an interesting turn, and I think you can do the same thing that I can do. And I think we're going to double up on what we do to cover more area.
No, I don't think you know what I'm going to do.
Okay, okay.
All right.
Because you giggled at something earlier.
And I would say that with that... Oh, wait. It wasn't Korak. I won't use that initiative. We will instead use... this one. Cool. With that, we will end today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed the session. You are about to fight off the final battle, which we will take on in the next episode. Thank you to everybody who is watching the Chronicles of Celestria at home, and we'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.